Hey everybody, I just wanted to come to y'all real quick and give my thoughts on this Cassie and Puff Daddy situation. This is a whole mess. She came out with allegations about less than 48 hours ago, and then last night everybody got the news that they had some type of settlement. And now somehow she's being paraded around as a sexual assault survivor. While that wasn't her civil litigation, she never took the time to file a criminal trial or a criminal case. And I thought that was important because the statute of limitation for rape in New York City, where she filed the civil lawsuit, is 20 years. And she's saying like this rape allegation happened in 2018. So she's well within her rights to file a criminal trial. And I think it's important to know that all case that goes along with it. So she could have went after him criminally and still been able to get something civilly and, got the money and all that stuff. But I just wanted to give my quick thoughts on this and, just a rundown of Diddy's case. I'm not here to defend Puff Daddy. He's been a pariah in our community for a very long time, not only in the hip hop community, but in the Black community. I'm going to start in 1991. I'm going to start in 1991. I'm going to bring up the case because since he's propelled onto the scene, it seems like death and just problems has followed him. So here's 1991. There was a stampede. 9 people died in Harlem at a celebrity basketball, some type of concert that they were having, right? This is 1996. He was involved with that. And now you see this stuff come back up. They have Keefe D about to go on trial. And we all know that Keefe D took a proffer years ago. And he said that Puff Daddy offered him $1 million to get the Tupac situation settled. And when that happened, he would call and pay him. He never got paid, but now he's going on trial. I wonder if Keefe D will stick to that story or if he'll just change up and bite the bullet. Here's 1997. Many of you know Biggie Smalls died. Here's 1999. This is the Puffy Sean indictment case about the shooting in the New York City club. Sean gets 10 years. This is 2004. 2004 is when he kind of rebrands himself. They did the Vote or Die campaign. Here's 2005 when he meets Cassie. Shortly after he meets Cassie, he has a baby by his longtime assistant. And then about 6 months after he has that child, he has twins by Kim Porter, right? And I believe it's real interesting to me that they come up and they talk about, this is another Me Too moment. And I thought Me Too was dead. I thought Me Too was dead after the 2020 elections. After Trump had 19 women accusing him of rape allegations, and Joe Biden had, I believe it was 7 women accusing him of inappropriate touching, and 1 woman accusing him of actual sexual assault. I guess I'll say that. And those things really just got swept up under the bus. It came back up with Trump now, but he's still fighting, and he still looks to be the top candidate to win the Republican nomination. So anyway, Cassidy, she files her lawsuit, and it was a bunch of like real horrible allegations. She alleged him of sex trafficking. There was a rape in there. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick, because it was some real horrible allegations. And I was like, man, if this stuff is true, and, Puff Daddy has always known to be, this sexually liberated person, a sexual deviant. And I'm like, man, if this stuff is true, then she should just go and file criminal charges and then file the civil charges later. But anyway, some of the accounts on this was raped. She said, in her home after she tried to leave him, he raped her, often punched, beat, kicked, and stomped on Ms. Ventura. Ventura is Cassie's last name, resulting in bruises, burst lips, black eyes, and bleeding. Blew up a man's car after he learned that he was romantically interested in her. Forced Ms. Ventura to engage in sex acts with male sex workers while masturbating and filming the encounter. Ran out of his apartment with a firearm in pursuit of a rival. industry executive whom he learned was nearby demanded that Ms. Ventura to carry his firearm and her purse, so if they ever got into something, and introduced Ms. Ventura to a lifestyle of excessive alcohol and substance abuse and require her to procure illicit prescriptions to satisfy his own addiction. You know, for me, I thought the Me Too was dead, and then it just pops back up, and it pops back up with Puff Daddy. And the way you do it, we have a criminal justice system in America. If you want to do something, you take somebody to trial if you still are within the statutes of limitation. And Cassie is well within the statutes of limitation. And the fact that she just popped up, accused him of sexual assault, you know, alleged all these heinous acts, and then take some hush money and just goes away is very problematic to me. I don't know. Like, this man has been a pariah for many years. He was a problem way before she met him. And it's like, soon as she met him, he was still messing around. I think he remarried Kim Porter. So they kind of had an on again, off again relationship. And I really don't care what happens to Puff Daddy. And I really don't even care what happens to, you know, the people who affiliate with him, because they know he's a problem. But just to show you, he doesn't just make women uncomfortable around him. He makes people uncomfortable.
Mr. Lee,
yeah, I love this drink.
Will you put my bag?
I like when you like this, Daddy.
Yeah, will you put my bag?
Daddy, I like when you scrambling and scraping. When you scrambling.
Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna go over that one.
Make a
that
wish.
one.
Just blow it out. It's your birthday every day.
Every day's a birthday on Drink Champs. God damn it, I'm in.
Where I look back on where I became.
Did you miss me though? For real, because I'm saying it seems like a thing.
I miss
his birthday party,
Puff, man.
But I'm talking about for your birthday.
Huh?
Why won't you party with me for your birthday, man?
We partied for my birthday before. You came to my party.
No, but me and you ain't never really party. You know what I'm saying? Eyes, brother.
Oh,
eyes. I understand. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So check this out. It's me, Tyrese, Ray J, and F. Gary Gray. You know, I'm a type of nigga, I like variety, man. I like people that's unpredictable. You know what I'm saying? I like different personalities. So that sounded like the type of night I want to have in Vegas. You understand what I'm saying?
So he just always has these wild stories. He makes people uncomfortable around him. I believe he was on the Breakfast Club, and they were saying pause when he was saying homosexual stuff. And he said, I'm unpausable. I don't play the pause game. Basically saying I'm down for whatever. Anywhere you go online, you'll hear some crazy stuff about it. The problem I have is that, you know, these women, they associate themselves with these powerful men. And then when things don't go right, then they want to run to the court system. And we see this all the time. And like, if you're going to run to the court system, I thought, you know, she should actually file criminal charges, because if indeed he is a rapist, he needs to be incarcerated. He needs to be in jail. It shouldn't just be a quick settlement. I think, you know, that a predator can also be preyed upon. And a lot of times these women prey upon men. There was a 30-year-old woman in R. Kelly's case that came out and said, you know, that her and R. Kelly was doing these things to young women, but somehow she was a victim too. And she was a 30-year-old VJ from Atlanta at the time. And she's saying, you know, I carried these lies. I can't carry them no more. So R. Kelly needs to be accountable for what he did. But she never got to be held accountable. She just got to be a victim. And I think this is a problem, because at any time in a man's life, when he becomes successful, women can just double back on him and either ruin his career or find out a way to solicit some money from him because they had a relationship that didn't end the way they thought it should have ended, if they thought it should have ended at all, or, you know, has, you know, maybe just a one-night encounter bomb. And it's very problematic when something like that happens, because I think about, you know, there's one particular case that, you know, really ruffles my feathers, and that's this one, right? Because, you know, Puff Daddy is going to be all right, but how does this fare for other black men? And like I said, I don't care if he gets locked up and whatever happens to him. At this point, he pretty much deserves it. But this idea that Me Too can impact the most vulnerable men, because you take an anomaly like Puff Daddy and make him the face of black men. If you look on Twitter right now, you see all this vitriol going against black men. This was a black man here in Denver. He spent 28 years in prison for the rape based on the victim's dream. A woman dreamed that she said the evidence was, part of the evidence was her name came to him in a dream. And that was enough to seal the deal. And he spends 28 years in prison because of that dream. This is a problem. So to me, it's bigger than Puff Daddy. And if you're going to do Me Too, you need to do it right. You need to do it within the parameters of the criminal justice system, not people just going out making allegations. See, at this point, and it works for somebody like Puff Daddy because he has enough money to be able to pay his alleged victims off. But what happens to the person that doesn't have any money? You just lose your career. You lose your life in the process. You lose everything you work for. And I just thought this was a problem. You get with these men that's problematic, and then you kind of throw them or their reputation up under the bus. And don't get me wrong, this isn't the first time Puff Daddy has had some rape allegations that came his way either. He's been known to live a risque lifestyle. This was him and his chef. P. Diddy sued by his former chef for allegedly demanding she serve him food while he was having sex. And what you found out in this article is that right after he would have sex, or maybe during sex, or while somebody else is having sex, he would have his chef come up and serve them food, and he would, say things to her that was inappropriate. Basically, he was, sexually harass her, and she ended up suing him, and he put her in a real vulnerable, uncomfortable situation, So for people like this, it works out for her, but I'm looking at the trickle down effect, and I just don't believe, what this says to me is that if you're a wealthy man, especially in Western society, that women will do anything for you. Some, not all women, but some women will do anything for you. And when it doesn't work out, they'll just turn around and blame you and blame the relationship and be able to double back, even if it's years later. Even if they're a married woman and it's 5-6 years later, they'll be able to double back and get that golden parachute that they didn't get while exiting the relationship, no matter how good or bad it ended. I just find a problem with all of this. And I don't want people to think this is my defense of Puff Daddy, but there has to be some accountability on the alleged victim as well. You are accountable to yourself. If somebody rapes you, you are accountable to then go and file charges. Nobody else is going to do it for you. And you can't come like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years later with no evidence and just say, well, just give me some dollars. I'll just take a couple of dollars and then I'll be out of there. If that's the case, and this man is a real perpetrator of sexual assault, if he's somebody that rapes people, then he should be taken off the street. What you do doesn't give anybody no justice. It's a cop out. It's a cop. Just give me a couple of dollars and you can go on about your life and do whatever you've been doing, probably for a very long time, and what if the tables was turned? What if men started doing this? What if men said, you touched me in a way that was inappropriate 5 years ago, 10 years ago when we was in a relationship, and now that you become uber successful, that you always been successful, I want some money because of that. And I think you should give me some money, So I think this is a very bad way. I've always disliked the Me Too system because of the way it goes outside of the guards of the criminal justice system, and it basically goes straight to public opinion. And you can use that public opinion to basically create a witch hunt. I'm not saying Puff Daddy what he did or didn't do, but I don't think this is the way that you come out with these allegations and then you just go away less than 48 hours. To me, it looks like a money grab. She's a married woman. She has a child. I think she should have worked this out with her psychologist, with her husband and family, and not brought this to the public light. I mean, there's a part of me that believe all parties is culpable. And you got, these women that prey on predators. If R. Kelly got out right now If they were to let R. Kelly out tomorrow, it would be women lined up at his door to come and get with him. Before he got locked up, he was still doing shows all across America. They had to actually lock him up and take that away from him. People would still support him, and they still support him now. There's groups of women that still support R. Kelly, you know, and many people supported R. Kelly. We knew what happened between him and Aaliyah. I mean, when I think about it, how deep does this go? Does Foxy Brown come, you know, years later and put a lawsuit against Jay-Z and say the same thing? I mean, how far does this go? B, I just wanted to kind of get my thoughts on record, give my opinions about this thing. I appreciate anybody that tuning in now or tuning in later. Thank you for watching. Peace.